Hello, I'm Bob Weir with the Cross Timbers Gazette newspaper, and my guest today is Rick Hagen, who's running for the seat being vacated by Myra Crownover, who's been a Texas State Representative in District 64 for the past 15 years. Thank you very much, Rick Hagen, for being here.
Bob, thank you for having me.
Let me begin by just asking a little bit about yourself. What's a brief description of your background?
Well, I grew up right here in the district, was raised in Denton and Argyle, went to high school in Denton. We raised horses growing up, so I've got a horse and a rodeo background. And growing up, I never wanted to do anything but be a cowboy. Started working when I was 14 years old, worked for a horse trainer, went on and worked for a horse doctor. After high school, I went to Austin College in Sherman, Texas, wound up majoring in political science and communication, got involved in the Bill Clements campaign back then. After graduation, I went to work for Jim Horn in the Texas legislature in 1987 as his chief of staff. Went on to law school at the University of Oklahoma. My interest changed. I became very passionate about the Constitution and representing people. So I decided I wanted to be a criminal lawyer. Went to work on the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals in Austin. Served there, went on to be a felony prosecutor for 2 years in Central Texas. And then I came back home to my hometown in Denton, and I've been practicing in Denton since 1993.
Well, that's quite a background. And by the way, I was born in New York City. I always wanted to be a cowboy too. I mean, I grew up with Roy Rogers and Gene Autry and John Wayne. I know John Wayne wasn't really a cowboy, but I think that's every young man's dream.
Well, in high school and college, I rode bucking horses. And now my Harley Davidson is a Palominian gelding named Sam, and I went back to roping calves. So that's my midlife crisis.
Oh wow, that's a great crisis to have. Let me ask you a couple of things about you. Recently, when you announced your campaign, you said that you waited a long time to be running for the Texas House. Did you have you not wanted to run because of who you would be running against?
You know, I decided I wanted to run for this seat 28 years ago when I worked for Horn in the legislature, and when Jim decided he wasn't going to run 20 years ago, he contacted me and he contacted Ronnie Crownover and asked us both to run for the seat. So Ronnie and I met, and I felt that Ronnie was in a better place in his life to serve the district, so I decided not to run at that time and to support the man that I thought was best for the job, and that was Ronnie. And then he passed and Myra took over that seat, and I feel that my time is now.
Well, and you also during your announcement, you said that you spoke with your opponent and you both decided you were going to run a clean, issue-based campaign.
Yes, sir, we did.
That's great. Now, could you tell me, first of all, let's begin with how many towns and cities are represented by District 64?
District 64 encompasses the entire city of Denton, the lake cities of Corinth, Lake Dallas, Hickory Creek, Shea Shores, and Crum.
And what type of campaign do you expect to be running? I mean, will you be running TV ads? Are you going to be doing a lot of speaking engagement? I think that's probably typical of...
I don't expect to run TV ads. My wife and I said that we were going to raise money on this for this seat. We weren't going to spend our own, and I think that's the way it should be done. So I, quite frankly, don't anticipate having money for TV ads. We're communicating with the public right now. We're going to events, we're speaking, we're meeting people. And so I expect it to be a grassroots type of campaign.
Will you be fundraising?
But we're fundraising. You've got to raise
money. You've got
money.
to do that. That's true. That's true. You have to fundraise. All right. How about debates? Do you expect to be debating your opponent?
I will debate any opponent that I have. I welcome that opportunity.
And at the current time, you have one opponent.
Current time, there's one person that has publicly announced the running.
All right. And do you have any differences with that opponent? I know you might as well say your opponent is Reed King. And I understand that Mr. King ran against Myra Crownover in 2014, was it, I believe? And he wasn't successful in that campaign, and now he's announced he's running in this one. How do you differ from your opponent?
Primarily roots and credentials. I grew up here. My father had a business here from the 60s to the 80s. My father had one of the largest manufacturing plants in the city of Denton. My mother was involved in the Denton Benefit League. When I say I grew up here, I mean this is my hometown. I live a half a mile from where I grew up. I am in touch with the community. I'm in touch with Old Denton. I'm in touch with New Denton. As far as credentials go, Mr. King's a passionate man. His current business is called Code Red Laser Tag, and he does laser tag birthday parties for children. And I have a professional career for 23 years, Bob. I've been representing real people with real problems, and if you look at my background, I have been president of the Texas Criminal Defense Lawyers Association. I've been board certified in criminal law for 22 years now. I've served on boards with the Texas Board of Legal Specialization. I've lectured to judges, prosecutors, and lawyers on topics from ethics to constitutional rights to preventing government seizures, and there's a tremendous difference in background and credentials.
And what is the name of your law firm?
Jackson and Hagen, and I'll tell you what I'm very proud of. My law firm was founded in 1912 on the square in Denton, Texas. My law firm exists in that exact location. It's never moved in 103 years. My partner, Hal Jackson, was a state representative. The last lawyer to represent the district was Mr. Jackson in 1951. Mr. Jackson's father was also a state representative from our district. So I'm very proud of my background, very proud of what I do for a living.
Since 1912 it was established. You don't look that old.
I haven't been with the firm the entire time, but it's been in the same building, same location, northeast corner of the square.
And how many employees? How many?
Right now I've got one law partner, a lawyer that's the same level of experience as I am. He's an incredible lawyer. When he was a prosecutor, Bob, he was the go-to guy for the Texas Rangers. When the Texas Rangers had a cold case, they went to my law partner, and he prosecuted and he convicted.
Well, excellent. Is there anything else that you'd like to add to this interview?
I want this campaign to be clean. I want it to be on the issues, and I want it to be on who has the roots, who has the connections to the community, who has the credentials, who has the ability to get the job done, and I think I've got the judgment and the experience to do that.
Well, that's very commendable, and I wish you good luck in the campaign. Thank you so much for being here, Rick.
Bob, thank you so much. Appreciate you.
And thank you for watching.